Hi everyone, welcome to WW Designs. My name is Nikki and today I had to make my second swap piece for my partner. I have a playlist called Creative Collab Journal. In there you will find journal making videos as well as a ton of ephemera. Every month I have to make 2 things for my swap partner, which gets sent to her, and she has made herself an A5 journal in whichever theme she's chosen, and we make things to go into that journal. So today I have this beautiful piece that I've done. It's inspired by Angela Kerr, and it's a multi-pocket arrangement. It's not hard to do, but it's a lot of fun, has lots of little storage spots and hidden journaling spots. It's a great project. So if you'd like to see how I made this, this bit is still loose because I can't attach it because it's going to be sent away in the mail. It's not going into a journal. So excuse that bit there. Yes, if you'd like to see how I made this and the supplies that I have used, just keep watching. Okay, so this triple envelope arrangement can be done in 2 ways. The easiest way is to grab 3 envelopes that are all a different size and simply cut up right along the edge as close as you can to open up the tops to turn these into pockets. Angela did not do hers this way. Angela did hers a different way, and that's how I'm going to do mine. So I went to Angela Kerr's website the other day and she was having a sale. So she sells this envelope template kit. It cost me very little. The 3 envelopes that I will be making, these are the 3 of them. And I'll show you them all quickly just so that you can see the sizes. You don't have to buy this printable if you don't want to, but I got it for such a good price. I went, I'm going to grab that. I printed it out on nice, heavy, plain, simple cardstock, cut them out, and of course now I have these templates. You can very easily make your own. This is number 3, the smallest one. It's 8.5 by 8.5 centimeters. So what you need to do is start with a rectangular sheet of paper, 8.5 by 8.5. Add on this bit, 8.5 by 7.5. Add on 1.25 plus 2, and then just cut out the corners. You've got yourself an envelope. I just bought this and it's fabulous and I'm very happy I did. But you can get around that. Also in this printable is another bit that we will be using to make this thing. And this is a long tag pocket and of course the long tag. This is 16 by 5.5 and you add a centimetre on each side, 1.5 at the end. Your tag is 16 by 5 centimetres, and I just realised I didn't do the other 2 sizes here. Envelope number 2, so the middle one, is a square again, 10.5 by 10.5 centimetres. So you just add on the difference. If you want to, you can just stop this video and take a screenshot so that you've got the measurements. Or, of course, you can adjust them depending on what size journal you're making. We, of course, are making A5, which is an A4 piece of paper folded in half. It's the simplest to use. So you buy printables and things like that. You print them off in A4 size. You fold them in half. We're good to go. And the envelope number 1 is 15 by 9.5. Add 15, 8.5, 2.5, 2.5, 3.5. Cut out the corners. Wham! You've got yourself envelopes. So to save time, I have already cut mine out, but I haven't done anything with them yet. And I have just printed this on normal copy paper. This is not the cheapest copy paper. It's sort of like next level. It does produce better prints, clearer and a little bit brighter. So I buy a whole ream of this from Officeworks and it's I just find it's a little bit nicer than normal copy paper. But I didn't do it on anything thicker, because if you did it on like quite thick cardstock or something like that, by the time you've finished and added all your embellishments and all the other bits, it's going to be too thick. We always, I mean, look, I don't mind a chunky journal, but we try and save where we can. So I just use normal copy paper. These will be embellished. It will give them added strength, but this is the easiest way I found. Otherwise, you end up with a mega chunky thing with just one piece of ephemera. So what we have to do here is we have to open our envelopes up with our fold over bits all pointing in the same direction, and you'll see why shortly. If you have directional prints on your paper, you need to be very conscious of making sure this is the right way round. It doesn't matter whether you have them all on the right side or whether you have them all on the left side. It will make no difference in the end. The only thing you will have to consider is if your papers are directional, you're going to have it folding over in that direction. So what you want is your flap sticking out, the direction of your paper facing you the correct way, and that's the way you're going to work. If you definitely want to do it left or right, you need to think about that when you're cutting out your envelopes. In this case, I don't need to worry. It makes no difference which way this goes. The same goes for this. This one technically has a pattern on it, which of course I didn't think about when I was cutting it out, but also I will be adding embellishment. No one's going to see any of this, so in this case, it definitely does not matter. So we have to prep our envelopes first, and what we're doing is we're going to turn these envelopes into pockets. So with the back facing you and making sure the flap is pointing in the correct direction, you're going to open it up, and the very first thing you're going to do is simply glue down the top. This is because we are not using these as envelopes. We are turning them into pockets. So this way, there's the top of your pocket where you slip your goodies in, and this gives it extra strength. You could cut it off if you wanted to, but I find it gives it a much nicer edge and it gives it a little bit of extra strength. Then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to create the rest of our pocket. So we're folding this back in and we're putting a little bit of glue. Okay, we're going to flip it around and we are just going to run some glue down the end here, but nowhere else. We don't need to do down there because we're joining it to here, and we want to leave the top open for a pocket. So we simply fold that over, get rid of that little bit of excess, and that's number one done. Then we're going to move on and we're going to do exactly the same thing. I've got my little flap pointing in the direction I'm going in. I've kept the other one close by so I remember. But as I said, with mine, it doesn't really matter because I don't have directional print. And then we add a little bit of glue here. I'm flipping this around only because I find it easier to put the glue down in a relatively straight line when I have it sitting in that way. So again, over we go. And we have now created another pocket. And we're going to do the last one. This is very simple. This is really not rocket science. And we end up with some cute pockets. I hope you are all well. It is officially still winter here in southeast Queensland, but it's feeling very much like spring today. It's very pleasant and very warm. So we now have our 3 pockets. I'm going to flip them over. Oh, I forgot to mention I did ink my edges on everything before I started, because I'm very good at forgetting to do that when I'm in the throes of making things. So we're going to turn them around. We've got our little flap open. We're going to grab the next one with the flap open, and we're going to work out our placement. Now, if you want to, you can have them perfectly even like that, or you can be a little bit different, and that's what I'm going to do. I want mine a little bit off even. So now, at the moment, this is a little bit wider than that. So I'm going to apply my glue. Just don't have to put tons on. This will hold together just fine, but I'm not going right up to the edge, because otherwise it's going to stick down on my mat. I don't want that. And we're going to pop that down there. We're going to fold this over and just make sure it's nice and snug. Give it a little press down. And as you can see, I've now glued this to my bottom envelope. We're going to do exactly the same thing. This time I'm going to place it down there a little bit. I want things a little bit off kilter. Now, because this one is quite thin, these are quite thick, I don't have to worry about where my glue is going. It's all good. Now, quickly flip that up and over, and voila. And I've got a little bit of glue there, that's fine. And we have now joined our 3 envelopes together, but we have, oops, what's happened here? What have I done here? Uh-oh, I've done this the wrong way around. Oh, Nick, you are unbelievable. I've just realised I did mine to the left. I'm glad I realised that now. Why is it when I'm gas bagging, I don't realise what I've done? But luckily, all 3 of mine are correct in the right direction, but I'm actually making a left-hand sided one. Oh dear, there you go. But that's perfectly okay. Everything will work just fine the way it is. It does not matter. The only thing I'm going to do now is just trim this off so that it's all even. Okay, so guess what? I am doing mine left-sided. I had all intentions of doing the right. Anyway, it's okay. So, as long as all 3 are open there, that's all that matters. We're going to just leave that the way it is. Now, the next thing we are going to do is add some hidden journaling space. Okay, so even though this will be full of tags and journal cards, we're going to add even more journaling space. And no one has to see it because it will be hidden on the underside of our envelopes. So I happen to have, I bought this little notebook at one of the book fests, and it comes with these 3 different types of paper. So I thought this would be perfect for our journaling spots. So we're going to glue this down. Now, I just wanted to show you one thing. If you decided to use normal envelopes, by doing this step, you can fix this issue so that you have a closed pocket. Otherwise, what would happen if this was open and you tried to stick something in, it would more than likely get caught here. So by adding this step, it's providing hidden journaling, but it will also seal this off for you so that you have a nice full pocket. So if I was doing this one, I would be making sure I put a little bit of glue along here before I stuck this down. Not too close to the edge because you don't want it to sort of accidentally leak over and then close your pocket in a spot. Just along that edge though. And then when it's dry, you'll have a nice sealed envelope. In this case, don't have to worry. This pattern creates a very tight top, so I don't have to worry too much about that. So all we're going to do is we're going to glue these down. I hate these little lid things. They always seem to get in my way, but obviously I have to have it or my glue would clog up every single day, and that's not ideal. So we're just putting glue around the edges, and of course it doesn't matter that we're gluing in there because we have a top pocket. This is literally just the edge, and of course I want this to be a hidden journaling spot, so I am going to make sure my paper is in the right direction. And we're going to do the same with these ones. See, this one is cut in a little bit further, but again, it's not really that far over that I think it would cause me any problems. But I will be sealing my pocket now with our hidden journaling spots. And to the last one, I might just do this way though, because it's such a big piece. And what I'm doing, I'm using Helmer's glue, Helmer's Tiger Grip, which is the only glue I usually use when I'm making journals. I love this stuff. Occasionally, if your paper's on a little on the thin side, sometimes you might get a little wave. Not very often, but it's happened to me sometimes, I think, when I add way too much glue. So I'm not putting any glue in the middle of this, and that way it's my paper, if it does decide to do any form of curling, it'll only be on the edge. But as you can see, because I've only put a little bit down, we're all good. Okay, so we now have our completed base, and it's time to do some decorating. So let's start with our top one. Now, this is going to be different than what I originally proposed. This still, of course, fits beautifully. So this is a journaling card. It's from a Stamperia paper pack that I've got, and I thought it was just a beautiful piece to have on the front. So I'm just going to apply some glue. I'm not going right up to the edge because, again, this does stick over just a little bit. That was the whole idea. That's why I didn't cut it down. I'm happy for it to stick a little bit over the top and the bottom. And I'm putting this over to the side like that. There we go. Because I have fussy cut out these tiny little letters. They were on a scrapbook sheet that I have had in my stash forever. So I've cut them out, and I'm going to put the word bloom down here. So just a tiny little bit of glue on each of these. And instead of measuring, I'm just going to start with the M at the bottom, and I'll work my way up. And that way I don't have to worry about spacing. So now I need, what one next? Nope. Oh, come on, fingernails, do your job. These are all slightly different sizes. They're all different prints. But I thought these were very cute. And they were just the perfect size for in this little gap. Sometimes you need to go through your stash. Honestly, I was struggling to find things for this because I wanted to keep it quite light. Oh, I forgot to mention, just FYI, these two papers, while I was over at buying my templates and she was having a sale, I decided to also purchase one of her spring background kits. I severely lack nice light coloured paper in my scrapbooking collection, so I decided to purchase that as well. And of course, once you buy a printable, you can print it as often as you like. So that way I have some nice pale papers. And there goes the bee. Voila. So that is our first pocket done. Then we're going to flip this over, and just for fun, I want to put a little bit of deco inside. Now, I got my die cut machine out. This is actually a little piece of magazine paper. It had some different shades of green, and I thought that was quite perfect for this because I couldn't find the right green in my cardstock selection. And I went, oh, look, magazines to the rescue yet again. And I didn't want to put a lot of deco on here because obviously then you're going to use up all your journaling space. Also was trying to be very conscious of thickness so we don't end up too chunky. Okay, we'll just flip this over, pop that down there. Now, the other thing I did, I had a magazine cover, and I die cut out all these cute little flowers. I'm just wondering if we could pop a couple on. Let's say we go a bit lavendery-ish with this one. Now, do I want them here? No, I don't think I do. I might just pop a couple down in the corner. Now, let's pick another one of similar tone. Might go with this one. No, I just maybe a little one, I think. So this, you would never guess, was actually a photo of frangipanis. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the frangipanis looked pink and white with a little bit of yellow in this photo, but I've ended up with all sorts of colours. You would have never guessed, actually, just for fun. Have I still got it in the bin here? Let me grab it out. I just want to show you. See, have a look. When you look at that, I see pink and white more than anything else. But I ended up with all these fabulous little coloured flowers. So, can always turn magazine pages into something fun. Okay, now we have the next one. And we're going to add a little pocket to this. This is just a scrap from my collection, but I loved all the green butterflies on it. Thought that was very appropriate for this. Keeping in mind my swap partner is doing a spring sort of arrangement as her theme, spring botanical, so I was keeping flowers and butterflies and things like that in mind. Now, just a very simple bit of deco. This is a little cutout from the tiniest little dictionary page I was gifted at one of the journal meetups I go to. The print is tiny, but it's so cute. So just adding a little backdrop there. Then all these little flowers and things. This is another purchase I've made recently. Seven Plaza put out this mega kit because she's sort of on a bit of a holiday breaky arrangement. So she put out this fabulous kit. I think it was $4.95 US, and it is full of all sorts of pages and ephemera. It is just fabulous. And I wanted to try and use printables or like copy paper thickness instead of too much cardstock. Again, trying to be very conscious of the thickness of what we're creating here. So I'm keeping my deco very simple for this one, and you'll see it sort of matches with one of the journaling cards that's going to be going in there. So then we flip over again, and we're going to add another one of my little magazine die cuts. This is when you definitely need some tweezers, and I might just pop that one over on this side. Oh, hang on, look, we've got a bit of die cut that didn't die out right. There we go. Good save. And then why not, might go with something a little darker. It sort of will go nicely, I think. What if we might use these two because we've sort of got a bit of brown and hint of mauve there. Look, seeing this one's a bit bigger, I might even add a third little one. Right. Why not? There we go. All right, that's done. Now, let's work on the front of this one. Just making sure I'm still in frame there and haven't shoved things around. Now, Angela did put another pocket on here, but I decided to do something a little bit different. What I've got is a piece of music paper, and instead of creating a pocket, I'm going to create a little tuck spot. So I'm going to hold my paper here so that I don't put glue down there. What I want to do is I only want to gently add a little bit of glue along these two sides, so that we create a tuck spot. And sort of a bit of a hidden one. You probably won't realise it's a tuck spot until you actually had a play with it, because we're not going to put a thick tag in there. You'll see what I'm up to shortly. So we now have a tuck spot. And then I have all these gorgeous pieces. These were all from a printable from that 7 Plaza Mega Kit that's available on her Ko-fi page, and I'm just going to collage some of these elements on here. This was not on there, that's from my stash, so we'll just do a bit of collaging, and then you won't even know there's a hidden tuck spot here. I'm not too worried about being fussy with the glue here because none of these pieces are going to be under any pressure. They're just sitting on top of the music paper. Now, to get these to fit, that's right. They're all a slightly different size. I didn't realise that. I was cutting them out merrily and then I went, oh, hang on a minute. How do I make this work now? Because they're not all the same size. Go. This cute little pink one down the bottom. This sort of had a lovely spring feel, but still a little bit vintage. As soon as I saw it, I went, oh, that's the sheet I need for this project. We're going to go slightly off the edge down there, but that's fine. Then we have one more flower. Bit lower there, and then just a number. I needed one more thing just to fill that spot, and there was sort of nothing else on the page that was small enough, so I just went and grabbed one of these numbers from my stash, and we'll just pop that right there. So there we go, we've got a nice bit of collage happening there. And then finally, let's add our deco to the back one. And then just for something different, we might put our flowers up in the top corner. So let's have the pinky one. What else have we got here that might look nice? Oh, I like that one. Let's have that one and one more. Actually, why not? I'll use 3 big ones. I'll make each one a tiny bit different. And we'll pop them up in the top corner. So still got plenty of secret journaling space, but just a little bit of deco. It just looks a little bit more finished. I like that. So we'll put that in the middle there. Actually, I might do them more like that. Again, so we don't use up too much of our journaling space. Okay, lucky last. Done. All right. So we now have our 3 pockets, all decorated, and even the backs. Now, because this is different to how I was planning on doing it, I realise I have this blank spot there. I will have to have a think about that. I need something to fill that spot. That's just too glaringly obvious, because this one was meant to be lower and you're only going to see the top of this. But anyway, these things happen and I will find a solution, but I won't have that for the camera now because I'm going to have to go hunting for something. Now we need to add some ephemera. So what have I made here? So the very first thing, this background is another piece from Seven Plaza's kit. And this was another piece on the spring sheet where all these cute little bits came from. And then I had this blue, and it's got a bit of silver on it. I just die cut out a little dragonfly. And that is going in our top pocket. Let me just, here we go. And we'll pop that right down there. Then the next one, this is a journaling card I found in my stash. This is from a Minte cut-apart journaling sheet. And I sort of was collecting the greens and the creams for this. Then I found this one in my stash as well. A little bit of a pop of colour. So popping that one in there. Tempted to do that, but no, I won't. I will find something else for that. And then this is simply a piece of manila folder, and I have glued some serviette or napkins, as a lot of people call them, down on it, just with using glue stick, nothing else. And then I spritzed it with some coffee because I thought it was a little bit too bright. This is a little bit more pastel and subdued. I have a whale tail tab, cut out a little bee, and that is my journaling card to go into the second pocket. Right, in we go. And just a hint of that sort of brighter pink sticking out there, but you can see Mr. B, so that's fabulous. And then instead of putting a tag in here, we're going to again keep things a little bit hidden and secretive. I have this really cute piece of paper which was sent to me from a swap partner at some stage, and I thought that would make a delightful little addition into our little tuck spot there. It's the tuck spot you have when you don't have a tuck spot. It's a Clayton's tuck spot. And then my final journaling card. This background was a freebie from Ink and Page that I've had in my stash for ages. Another little piece has been cut out there. I've added a tiny bit of pink lace, and I don't know where this bit was from. I have no idea, but it was in my stash. The little birdie, of course, was part of this Seven Plaza sheet. A little bit of green ribbon up the top there. And that is going into my final pocket. Now, there we go. We have our envelope trio. Pockets are full. But of course, guess what? It doesn't quite end there. There's one more little step that Angela did. So I, of course, have done the same thing using the templates in the kit that I bought. It's a long pocket and the long journaling card. And the idea of this is, but of course I can't do it because this is not going in my journal. I'm posting it out. You glue this down onto your journal page, right? And it sits there merrily like that. And then to cover this up, but also just, you know, to add another pocket, you then glue this down just along the edges. And we now have another pocket. And how cool is that? Now, this is a little bit chunky, but honestly, it's not too bad when you consider how much stuff is involved. Now, also just another little tip. You know, our brown grocery bags that we get, that's what I glue my printables to make journaling cards and tags. It gives you some writing space, but it's also not so thick. So I find it is perfect when you're trying to be conscious of chunkiness, and it's a good way to reuse all those grocery bags. And there we go. So that is now complete. I'm going on a hunt. I'm obsessed now. I need to find something to pop on there because that is just too glaringly void, but I will fix that. I hope you enjoyed this little project. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments box below. And if you could take a minute of your time just to give this video a thumbs up. And also, if you're not already a subscriber, I would love it if you joined in for all sorts of paper crafting fun. And until next time, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye for now.